we've all seen the videos, all right? I don't need to walk you through this phenomenon. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm here to talk about gym talk. If you have any form of obsessive tendencies, don't even look at this necklace because I can't untangle it and I won't. And that's not because I can't. Now, if I had to give you a slight rundown of gym talk, it refers to the side of TikTok that's full of gym bros and definitely very natural people who didn't get any surgery or take any drugs. And everyone there definitely only got their bodies from going to the gym, and no one saw a doctor or took any kind of medication to aid in that body. And they are definitely not trying to sell you anything based on these bodies that they did not get from doctors or surgery that they definitely got from the gym. Everybody on Gym Talk has very healthy and realistic standards and expectations of a human body that they're selling to us. And I mean, dropping the sarcasm for a second, there's also definitely a lot of people on there who did genuinely get their body from the gym and do put a lot of work into how they look, and they are incredible. It definitely is kind of a mixed bag, kind of like everything online now, I guess. But the very specific talk of the town right now when it comes to gym talk has to do with recording in the gym. Specifically speaking to like people recording potential moments of harassment that happen in the gym. Feral, like fucking feral. And I guess I feel kind of weird about it. Like, I kind of feel conflicted because we just recently went through this whole thing about like believing women and whatnot. That was a joke. Kind of. But the reason why it feels kind of confusing is because it's a weird thing to try and unpack because people's opinions on it are kind of right and wrong at the same time. Because of the handful of videos that people have posted online that potentially made them the aggressor in the situation because they weren't actually being harassed at that moment, it's kind of made that the entire conversation surrounding harassment in the gym kind of just become a joke. The real conversation about, I guess, like women dealing with harassment and like female-only gyms has kind of gotten overshadowed by everyone being like, see, you can go to the gym and do all kinds of things and no one will look at you. Or a bunch of dudes, on the other hand, making jokes about never helping a girl if they happen to be dying under the barbell because they're afraid of being put on TikTok and said they were harassing someone. But I kind of do wonder if we're making a joke out of something serious because of a handful of people who might have been crying wolf. Now, I guess if we could step back a little bit, why did people originally start filming in the gym? My understanding was that people were encouraged to film in the gym to check their form. But then, like with everything, once you start filming, you start creating content, and then, you know, people started making very aesthetic, fun, you know, cool workout videos and started posting them. In the beginning of it all, I feel like when people were posting videos about them being harassed at the gym, they seemed very real to me. It appeared to me, watching a lot of those original videos, that they were in fact being harassed. Like the person in the video was definitely acting weird. But then I think it kind of happened to be a snowball where TikTok feeds you the kind of content that you constantly interact with. And because you start interacting with one or two of these videos, you get fed a bajillion of them. Like, I swear, you like one gym talk video and you'll never stop seeing gym talk. Gym talk will become your entire feed very quickly. However, I think once it started to become more of a creative endeavor than an exercise endeavor, people started to express their annoyance at it. But I do think this is where we all started to get a little too chronically online with how we behave. Because first of all, I do go to a commercial gym and I have seen someone filming there maybe once or twice. Seeing people filming in public in a gym, filming themselves, is actually not that common. And while I understand the annoyance that people were posting online, I think it started to create a disdain for people who do this based on constantly being fed this type of content more than actually encountering these types of people. And I mean, I don't disagree with the annoyance, just to be clear, because we shouldn't be filming strangers in the gym. I've long felt that TikTok encourages a culture of like filming strangers that I truly hate. I really do. And not just in a gym context. I really do feel like filming strangers in a very general overarching context is gross and I hate it. However, a handful of these videos, especially in the beginning, seemed to be very genuine, where women were catching people in the background doing weird things. And there seemed to be genuine creeps doing creepy things, which I think because it became kind of such a meme and a joke, we forget that it's like a real thing that happens. Like, female-only gyms exist for a reason, and people have advocated for women-only spaces for a reason. But I think what happened was kind of like a few bad apples spoiled the bunch. And the parodies of these videos and making jokes out of it are not, I don't know, a part of it just doesn't sit well with my spirit. I don't like it. Which we all saw that streamer recently who had posted herself claiming that someone was following her in the gym. And she did post an apology about this, but there was a handful of replies that were kind of calling her an egomaniac or assuming that she was like full of herself for whatever reason, for acknowledging that because she's an attractive person, this happens to her a lot. And I feel like the response that she got, this might be unpopular, but was weird. weird. It was weird, dude. I didn't like it. First of all, a lot of women, especially I think streamers, are dealing with so much unwanted sexualization all the time that can it really be that confusing that someone might have a knee-jerk reaction to a man acting any type of way about them and feel like this person might be coming to hit on them. Like, whether or not you feel like this person is an attractive person doesn't matter in terms of harassment, because it happens to everyone regardless of how conventionally attractive you happen to be or others think you are. Because the thing is, harassment and abuse is more an issue of vulnerability than desirability. There's no hard metric of being a certain amount of attractive that leads to a certain amount of harassment and abuse. And because so many girlies have dealt with things like this, then yeah, you can kind of have a guard up even when someone isn't hitting on you. And we acknowledge in the real world, I guess outside of the gym, that like this guard that a lot of women have up is justified. Because yes, not all men, but you don't know which men. So you kind of walk with a general protectiveness around all men just in case. Because if this one happens to be one of the men that are creepy, then you just don't want the additional trauma, right? We've got enough. And I do think that the way that people were coming at her for acknowledging that she was attractive and this happened was confusing, because people were kind of insinuating that, no, this guy wasn't hitting on you, you're not even that attractive.
Which is like,
what's the message there? Are we saying harassment only happens to attractive people? Are we framing harassment as something that is a result of being good looking? Something that you should almost be grateful for? Listen, I could be digging too deep, but I'm just saying the response that she got, I found weird. And I understand that people feel weird about the fact that the video was posted, because naturally, if this person isn't hitting on you, if this person is not being threatening, then you've kind of just put a total stranger on blast. And I understand the annoyance with that. You know what I mean? Like, if you are genuinely just trying to be a helpful person, then it can be kind of messed up that now you're online and, you know, everyone thinks you're a creep if you genuinely were just trying to help. But I think on the flip side as well, it's just important to remember that a lot of women do have this kind of perpetual guard up that is causing an automatic defensive response. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm kind of just acknowledging it. And I think I felt the need to acknowledge this because I felt like despite what happened to her, and I understand people's annoyance with, you know, posting a stranger online, that no one had any empathy for the other side. Like, there was a chronic lack of empathy for the situation. Like, people were very quick to say, you're not even that attractive, so why was he hitting on you? He was just being nice, and really coming down on her rather than being able to even understand the other side of it. And like I said, a lot of people start making jokes about it, making fun of it. I've seen a handful of influencers even posting themselves doing outlandish things in the gym to prove that no one's watching you. And I just want to make clear, it is hard to defend someone filming another person and posting them online, especially declaring they're a creep if they're not a creep, or putting strangers on blast in that way. I guess unless you have hard evidence that this person actually is a threat, you can really end up, you know, ruining someone or at least hugely embarrassing them if you do end up falsely accusing someone of doing something if they are just generally a helpful person. And I think what's weird about it is that I don't really know the solution, because like, you can't really stop people filming in the gym, I guess, because it's a public space. That's not the behavior I'm defending. I'm not really defending anything or anyone, but definitely not filming strangers and posting them online. We really shouldn't be doing that. I'm just saying though, that on the flip side of that, from that girl's position, I think a lot of women, including the women who are making fun of her, have been in a situation genuinely at the gym where they have felt creeped out and probably couldn't tell if someone was following them or being creepy or if they were being paranoid. Because the thing that comes with the fact of having this guard up is that sometimes you'll be right and sometimes you'll be wrong. But a lot of the people that are making fun of it, I think especially the women, to me feel kind of gross. I don't think it's right that we make light of the entire culture of people being watched and stared at and bothered and harassed at the gym because a handful of times some people cried wolf. I do also implore, especially the women who are making fun of this, to be more empathetic in these situations and understand that assuming someone is following you is not an issue of egomania as much as it is an issue of trauma. It kind of feels like we hyper focused on these people as an aid to the not all men straw man argument. I think that people should be allowed to film in gyms. You know, people should be allowed to film their form. And I honestly do think if people want to make content out of their gym workouts, that should be allowed. And hey, maybe I'll end up in the background of some 16-year-old's PR. Maybe that's my legacy. And you know what? I don't hate it. In the same breath, it can't continue to go unmitigated that we're just kind of allowed to film anybody doing anything in the gym. On the flip side of this is that if you are filming and you do feel like someone is being weird or creepy to you, maybe just take the video video to the security at your gym and let them know about it. Hopefully they can do something about it, like IRL, like maybe potentially have that person removed from the gym, and don't post it, because you do risk getting a ton of hate online if this person happens to be a normal person, putting them on blast. It's kind of risky to go too public with this, so maybe if you happen to catch a weirdo on video, keep it between you and the gym security. So what is the point of this video and what is the wrap up? This video is also about the street style interviewers in the gym who walk around with their little mics asking people, what are your biggest gym aches? If we're going to be having this conversation about banning cameras from the gym, I want the people who walk around with mics and do street style interviews in the gym to be the first to go.